Among a million stars, we'll wish up there is ours. Maybe this time it all comes true. I was on my own until that day you came into my world, and it changed everything. Now I'm not alone, and I can see a brand new path appearing before my eyes, but I can't reach it alone. I need someone to show me the sky, and a voice on the wind tells me that maybe you could lead the way. Among a million stars, I'll wish up there is ours. Maybe this time it all comes true. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it unafraid and take this world on together.
And we are back. We are back. We are back. And it has fixed itself because YouTube doesn't like working the first time. It likes working on the second try because it's YouTube. I don't understand it either. It's just why. It's one of those things. So what I got to do is fix my Wi-Fi on my phone. That way I can watch the stream chat as it's coming along. And you know what? I'll just move you over there. Actually, no. Wait. I will move you over here. And I'm gonna move you over here. Come on. Load, please. Authentication error. What I'm going to do is disconnect. Maybe that might solve that problem. Incursus doesn't do a lot of things, if you've noticed. So here we go. We are back. Incursus gets a whopping 1. Exactly. I get a whopping like 100% of my streamers all the time, and I get the most active chat. So that means I'm better than Incursus, right? Oh, I get 10% of subs, but a lot of them watch the streams afterwards. So, oh, what you should do is if I looked at my channel specs, and it said that my viewing time was up from last month 999%. How the hell does that even work? Viewing time 900 is up. I don't even think Incursus gets that. Alright, that's... Yeah, Incursus needs to come onto here and watch how the pros like to stream. Yeah, because we are definitely pro streamers over here, and Incursus needs to take some lessons. And maybe Fraz too. If Fraz came over here, maybe he'd actually learn how to act like a real professional. All right, let's stop knocking on Fraz. Let's get We haven't gotten to Blobberetta yet. I haven't even started because I'm talking to chat. Jesus Christmas. Okay, okay. Does Blobberetta even stream? Uh, that's surprising. He is so important. I haven't heard that he streams. That's how important he is. Think about that. He is so important. I have never heard of his stream channel. Yeah, and Kirsten needs to come over here and start, and he has to make the jokes. Oh, he's more than welcome to super chat mean things to me. That just means he gives me the money back that I gave him. Alright. So sunlight blasts through the windows and wakes me up bright and early. I groan as I sit up in bed, rubbing the sleep from my eyes. I squint at the bed next to me. Zach is nowhere in sight. I guess he's an even earlier riser. After I'm dressed, Barbaretto leaps onto my shoulder. Good morning! He lets out a little yawn.
Boy, boy.
It's pretty early, huh? How much did I give in curses? Probably enough to buy his own computer. The Pongo nods and snuggles against my neck, closing his eyes.
Boy.
I probably donated a couple thousand to him. We have a long day of traveling ahead of us. I wonder if everyone's already downstairs. I open the door and step into the hall. As predicted, I find everyone already waiting for me downstairs.
Ready to go?
Oh yeah, babe, I am so ready to go. Yeah, I have everything.
Great! Then let's get going.
We set off towards the floating aisles with the bright sun in the sky. I barely feel the chill in the air. It seems that Liana and the rest of the team are feeling much warmer too. Maybe this is from the magic of the hot springs warming us from the inside. Either way, I'm not complaining. The walk to the air temple takes a few hours. Lately, I've been getting used to all the traveling. But why is everything so far away from each other?
We made it.
Huh? We did?
Yep. Look.
Incursus, does he give me... I think if Incursus gave me a channel shout out, it would be more of a disservice than a service. I glance to where Leanna's pointing, and my mouth drops open. There are a couple hundred floating islands sprawled out across the sky. Hearing Amelia tell me about them was one thing, but actually seeing them in person...
I've never seen anything like it.
Me neither.
Even Zach looks... How is that Zach looking impressed? Zach looks like... He always does. How is this impressed? This is how he always looks. The fuck? The hell? All the aisles are different shapes and sizes, just big enough for maybe a few people to stand on. The wind tosses the glistening grass from side to side. Andrew, how we doing? Welcome to the stream. I can make out clusters of different flowers peppering some of the islands. Pale purples and fluffy magentas.
Just as I expected. The temple should be here.
Shut up, Spock. We don't want you. You're gonna go away. Where exactly? Amelia points above the aisles and up into the clouds.
You and Liana will find the air temple at the highest floating isle.
It's a good thing I'm not scared of heights.
We'll set up here while you guys go do your thing.
Good luck.
Liana and I nod.
Off we go then.
Liana and I travel up the slope in silence. After a while, I glance back and feel unease when the rest of our party members are no longer in sight. As we continue to travel upwards, I feel my ears pop. Just how high up are we? We finally reach the pinnacle point of the mountain. Wow! Look at this! Look at these floating isles. Know what this reminds me of? That the floating isles from that movie, Avatar. The isles are closer and look even more impressive. The closest isles look deceivingly close, but I know that if I tried to jump it without the boost of magic, I never make it. A breeze ruffles my hair as I step closer to the edge. I look down and down and down. My chest tightens. It's a very long drop.
Don't worry, we're not going in that direction.
We're not going in that direction? Well, which direction are we going in? That's a bigger question, is what direction are we going in? Because we need directions. Liana gives me a reassuring smile. I feel slightly better, but my stomach is still on knots. I glance up at the first aisle. So how are we going to do this? Liana sprints past me. The sound of the armor actually sounds really, really realistic. Liana sprints past me and effortlessly jumps high in the air. She lands gracefully onto the platform. No matter how many times I've watched Liana use magic to augment physical skills, it never ceases to amaze me just how badass it is.
Your turn. Take a running start and jump. I'll boost you over.
As I look at the massive gap between the edge and the first aisle, my knees become shaky and weak. What if I really do fall? Should we trust Liana? Or maybe we should figure out another way. A or B, guys? We got 1 A, we got 2 A's, we got 3 A's. Any more A's? We got 4 A's. 4 A's wins. I believed in Liana so far, no reason to doubt her now. I close my eyes and recompose myself. This is going to be quite literally a leap of faith. I step a few paces back and get ready to sprint. Ready?
Yep.
Here goes nothing. I dash towards the edge and jump with all my strength. I feel a powerful gust of wind lift me into the air. Whoa! In one smooth motion, I make it onto the platform with the breeze softening my landing. My heart is racing.
You okay?
That was awesome! Liana looks surprised, then giggles.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's do it! We walk across the aisle and position ourselves to jump onto the next one.
Alright, you're going to try this next jump with your own magic channeling.
My blood runs cold. My magic? Liana nods.
I know you can do it. You just have to use the wind like a
Oh,
springboard.
she's doing
and you'll
her
fly right over.
pose of I know you can do it pose. I hate that pose. It is so cliche. It's like but she looks so cute when she's doing it too. Liana is a legal lolly.
Find the spot that you're going to take off from and conjure a powerful gust of wind from there as you jump.
Right. Liana speaks encouragingly, trying to calm my nerves.
Don't worry. If it doesn't work, I'll help.
I look at the next aisle.
Just remember what we've practiced. You'll be fine.
I nod and prepare a running start. Use the wind as a springboard, right? I can do that. I stuck in a deep thought. To infinity and yonder! I dash ahead, forcing myself to push past my nerves and focus my mind on my manipulator. My stomach drops as my feet leaves the ground, but I try to push through the fear and focus on casting. A surge of energy shoots down my arm. My gauntlet glows and the air swirls up around me, pushing me forward. I let out a startled cry as I fly through the air. I land hard at the next aisle and feel the wind escape me, but at least I made it over on my own.
That was excellent.
Leanna floats onto the same aisle and lands gracefully on her feet, a wide smile on her face.
You were able to augment your abilities on the first try. I'm so proud of you.
Aw, you're so proud of me. Her smile is contagious and I grin back. Thanks.
You ready to keep going?
I nod, now brimming with confidence. Let's go. As one, Leanna and I leap and land on the next island, and the next, and the next. The first few times I jump, I float shakily in the air, but the more I cast, the easier it becomes. We hop from aisle to aisle, keeping pace and making good time. Leanna catches my grin and laughs, springing in ahead of me. I smirk. Two can play at that game. I push forward with another surge of magical energy and race ahead of her.
It's like that, is it?
She wears a determined look and a roar of wind soars her overhead. You're on! I leap after her. Oh, look at these mad strats here, guys. My APM is off the charts. We leap from platform to platform. The whole time I managed to keep pace with Leanna. Her sunny hair whips about each jump. Her laughter streams across the clouds, bright and delighted. We race forward, but I can't quite seem to pass her. We finally soar and slide to a stop on the final platform, our shoes flinging up grass and dirt. I laugh, the sound breathless and spiky. My legs burn as I take in gulps of air. Now that we finally stopped, I realize how much energy I've used. My muscles ripple with exhaustion. I feel like I could collapse and take a nap right here. Do you mind if I take a quick break? She nods.
That's a good idea. You aren't used to such a heavy energy usage in a short amount of time.
You would know. It's comfortable and peaceful as Leanna and I sit down.
It's beautiful here.
I follow her gaze. It really is. The clouds look as soft as sponge sugar. They glide across the blue sky. Dappled sunlight glints off of Leanna's white armor. Her hair dances across her face as we watch the sun begin to dip low behind the clouds.
It's so nice here. It makes me happy.
Happy? She nods.
I don't feel so weighed down here. It's like I'm free.
I blink at her, curious. Free from what?
Everything. It's just, I don't know. The looming responsibility of the world weighs me down sometimes.
A small chuckle puffs out of me. The looming responsibilities of the world. Leanna blushes.
I suppose it's not the whole world. It's just, there's sometimes so much expectation. From the Mage Guild, from guards and places we visit because of the sigil.
She hesitates for a second.
And from my family. It all gets so overwhelming.
She's always so calm, collected, and upbeat. I guess it's hard to remember she's human too, when she keeps up such a strong facade. She doesn't talk about her family much, and from the way she hesitated While mentioning them just now, I gather their relationship may be strained. Expectations from your family? She pauses and hugs her knees close to her chest.
Well, in this world, a lot of women my age are already married and have children. It's something my family has always wanted for me. Those things, they aren't bad, but it's not something I want to think about right now. I want to explore and see everything. I want to be free.
I nod, understanding. It must have been tough to constantly have those expectations on your shoulders. Leanna smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. She shrugs.
Yeah, I love my family, but we definitely have different views on things.
I nod. Yeah, of course. There's a pause.
Ever since I joined the Mage Guild, I feel like I can finally breathe. I can look to the horizon and know that I can just go there.
There's another pause.
But all this doesn't matter. I know I'll have to leave the guild one day and fulfill the expectations others have for me. Why even bother doing any of this if it's all so fleeting?
Sometimes it's better not to think about what's to come. It's better to just enjoy the moment for how it is. Leanna blinks.
Enjoy the moment.
I grin and nod. Yeah, just appreciate things for how they are right now. Leanna looks a little confused, but interested. The experiences you have, the memories you make, those are not fleeting. They stay with you forever. They make you who you are. They make you who you are as a person. If you get so wrapped up on how you're supposed to live, you forget to actually live.
I never really thought about it like that.
I nod reassuringly. Like today, you're free and able to travel, right? We've been hopping through the air and it's been fun. And I don't know about you, but when I'm soaring through the clouds, I can't think of anything except how amazing that moment feels. That's how you should live every day. Leanna tilts her head, intrigued.
That's an interesting way to view things. But what about the responsibilities you still have?
Okay, do we do A or B? A, don't care about our responsibilities or obligations, or B, it's a balance. We got 2 B's, 3 B's. We got B's. B's win. Yeah, I do. I have to get good grades at school or else I won't graduate. And I have to respect and honor my parents. But I also have to respect my own dreams for life. I try to take each day one step at a time. It's good to respect your obligations, but try to push forward with what you want from your life. Leanna looks like she's processing what I said.
Oh, I see.
Besides, no one knows what life will throw your way. If someone told me a month ago I'd be in another world talking to a mage knight on a floating island in the sky, they'd think I was crazy. That doesn't even sound remotely plausible. She chuckles. Yet here we are. There's just stuff you can't plan for. And those unexpected things in life that life throws your way, sometimes they end up being better than anything you could have ever have planned for. Her signature smile finally returns. A flock of birds suddenly shoot up in the sky. The movement tosses back our hair as we watch them fly by in silence.
So, do you have anyone to go back to?
What, like a girlfriend? Leanna's cheeks redden. She nods. Do we... Okay, this is really the red flag, ladies and gentlemen. Do we do A, I've never had one? Women totally love me? I've been with my fair share of women? Or nothing serious? You run away. I'm gonna take authority here, and I'm gonna press A. I've never had a girlfriend. Leanna's eyes widen a little.
Really?
She blushes. I can't tell if she admires that I've never been with anyone or she's just shocked. I smile. Yeah, I've just never wanted to date just for the sake of dating. Call me crazy, but I think when you meet that special someone, you'll just know. Leanna smiles as her blush deepens. What about you? Leanna looks away as she blushes.
I've never been with anyone.
Seriously, I find it hard to believe that someone like you hasn't been in a relationship.
Someone like me?
Charming, smart, hardworking, patient, beautiful, need to go on? Leanna's blush deepens.
You're seriously exaggerating. But thanks.
She clears her throat and scrambles to her feet before I can ask any more questions.
You ready to go?
I nod, my heart still pounding. I stand to clear my thoughts. Yeah, let's roll. We bounce across even more platforms. It takes a whole more work to soar to them than before, partially because we're further and further apart, and partially because we're already weary from all the air hopping we did earlier. The sky is painted pink and purple by the time we reach the highest floating isle. We step onto the island and look around. The flowers shimmy in the breeze, and in the far corner is the familiar sight of a temple ruin.
This must be it.
I hear a low groaning sound. What was that?
This must be the entrance.
I follow her gaze to a large open archway. It's too dark for me to tell what's inside. A freezing, moaning wind spirals out of it and rustles the grass and flowers outside. I shiver but try to shake off the cold. I'll go ahead. I walk towards the entrance and the wind howls. It roars and tumbles out of the door, pushing me away. I grunt and try to fight my way through, but I'm unsuccessful.
It looks like there's a strong gust of wind here to keep people from entering. Let's try springing ourselves forward.
I nod. Both Leanna and I take our place. With a running start, we use wind to augment our speed and try to push through. Even though Leanna makes it ahead of me, the wind is too strong and we're both eventually pushed out. Damn.
Here, take my hand.
Huh?
I'll slingshot you in.
Oh.
If this is where the elemental will be, maybe absorbing the energy will lower this barrier, and I can follow after.
I nod and take her hand.
1, 2, 3.
We both dash forward, channeling our energy, and push as deep as we can. At the point of overpowerment, Leanna rotates and throws me, slingshotting me forward. I fly through the gust and tumble into the temple. Looking back, I can't see her past the darkness. At least that worked. I ended up in a room filled with crumbling stone and rusted relics. Surprisingly, I stand alone in this room. Where is the elemental? She was always waiting for me in the last two temples. Am I supposed to summon her somehow? I take a look around the room. More items are scattered about, but I don't spot anything that looks obviously magical. I don't know how to do scans like Leanna or Amy, and the Pongo isn't here to gravitate towards anything with energy. What should I do? I step further in, then pause when a pair of inverted eyes appear from the top of my vision. With a sharp yelp, I fall back. Ooh, she's cute. She's cute. Yeah. A young lady giggles as she floats over. I think that's the air elemental. Instead of imparting me with her power, she merely watches me. A, can you communicate? B, you spooked me? Or C, okay then. A, we got 2 A's. Any others? 3 A's. I pull myself off the ground. She beams as she watches me. Hello. She doesn't react. Can you talk? She blinks at me and tilts her head. I don't think this is working. What should I do? I bring my hand up to my chin to think. The air elemental blinks and does the same, resting her chin on her hand. Whoa, wait, are you copying me? I slowly wave a hand. After a second, she smiles and does the same. You are, aren't you? Wait. Is that Bear? is that bear over there? God. Is that bear from Savage? Wait, which bear is that? I know a lot of bears. I tap the top of my head. She giggles and does the same. She seems pretty playful. I make a pointer. 42, that's a very, unbearable comment. I make a pointer with my hands and slowly reach her. She floats closer and does the same with her hand. Our hands move closer and closer until our fingertips touch. The sensation is something I've never felt before. Although my finger doesn't fall through her like an illusion, I don't feel a physical contact either. Though my fingertip, I feel a tendril of calm, ethereal energy. Almost like she's testing me. She smirks and suddenly a gale storm erupts in the room. It circles around me, whipping my hair into my eyes, but I stay steadily on my feet. After the wind envelops me, it begins to channel into my body. I feel the rush of energy coursing through me. It makes me feel weightless, as if lifting the burdens of gravity from my body. The stronger and more rejuvenated I feel, the more of the elemental begins to fade. Before she disappears, she grins and raises her hand to wave. Thank you. The last thing I see is her beaming smile as I absorb the last bit of energy and she disappears. That was a surreal experience. I start making my way back through the tunnel.
Hey!
I see Leanna jog over.
The wind outside disappeared, so I came in here as fast as I could. Did something happen?
Yeah, I found the air elemental. She was quite the airhead. Leanna brings up her manipulator and does a scan.
It seems like you absorbed the energy in here as well.
I nod. Yep, she transferred the energy like the other elementals, but the experience was a bit different.
Different?
She was curious about me. Instead of waiting for me in the room to transfer the energy immediately, she started copying my movements, almost like she was playing with me. It was pretty cool. Leanna blinks.
Are you telling me you played a mind game with one of the ancients?
I suppose so. Leanna looks amused.
I'm sure Amy will want to know the details of what happened. To be honest, I'm pretty curious myself. But we've been gone a while now. And now that we've gotten what we came for, we should head back.
Agreed, but first let's grab a few things.
Oh right, you did promise Kara.
We search around the room and decide on a few interesting trinkets and coins to pack up. Once we're all set, we exit the temple. We both pause outside once we see the dazzling sky. It's ablaze with streaks of violet and gold. Even the puffs of clouds passing by are painted lavender or orange, added to the portraits in the sky. The colors seem more vibrant so high up there, and the view takes my breath away. Take my breath away.
I thought the view was beautiful before, but this is a wonder.
We take in the scenery. This is what I meant earlier. Things like this create a moment that lasts a lifetime.
I agree.
You're missing a G there, Purple. Yeah, there you go. Good job. Golden rays shine brightly in the sky as the sun travels beneath the clouds. One last hurrah before the sun from the sun before it sets. I don't know how long we stand here before I break the silence. We should head back. You're standing around to break a moment of silence. You're all alone, sunset on a floating island with your girlfriend. And the first thing out of your mind is your mouth is, we should head back. Think about that for a second. That is never the first thing you should say when you're with your significant other at a romantic spot. I should never think the first thing that comes out of your mind. You should be like, we could stay here for a little while longer. Make it romantic. Maybe whip out your dick. I don't know. We should go back. That is such a mood killer. That is such a mood killer. I turned to walk back towards whence we came, but I met with a solid resistance. Huh? I try to walk forward again, but I'm pushed back into place by a stiff wind, as if I'm entering the temple again. I stumble and try again, but the wind pushes me back. Hey, Leanna, where did this? I turn around and the words catch my throat. Her gauntlet glows a pale blue while her face is bright red. I look at her in confusion. Leanna? Ah, it looks like she's making the first move. And it looks like she didn't want to just go back. The wind hooks around my back and guides me gently towards her. Her cheeks brighten as the glow of her manipulator fades. What's going on?
I want to live in the moment.
She steps closer to me. A. Do we do A or do we do B? A. We gotta do A, right? A. 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 Where are all my A's? Where are all my A's? Fuck you, Zahid! We're doing A. Leanna stares up at me with her bright, cerulean eyes. My face burns as my heart rate quickens. She's so close to me I can smell the intoxicating perfume of her hair, and I feel lightheaded. Can't say my name! Hamid! Like I'm under her spell. The radiant sunset fades from view as I gaze at Leanna. Bear, no! No, Bear, no! The fading sunlight illuminates her hair like a halo, and I reach out a hand to tuck a strand behind her ear. She smiles softly at my touch, and then imploringly at me as she bites her lip. Her sudden confidence melts, and I see a hopeful vulnerability in her gaze. Kissing scene! Woo! I wrap my arms around her back and pull her close and pull her into me. She lets out a soft breath of surprise as her hands rest in my chest. I trace the outline of her cheek with my thumb. Yes, that's what we look like. Her face turns red and I can feel the heat of her blush, but she doesn't pull away. Instead, she leans into my touch. Gently, I begin to close the space between her lips. She tilts her head towards me and her lips pause. I can Bear! Dude, no, Bear. Bad Bear. She tilts her head towards me and her lips part. I feel her breath and I pause just as our nose touch. Her breath catches at the electricity of our touch. The air feels thick and charged with energy as we hover so delicately in limbo. Her hands trace down my chest, and her breathing becomes shallow as she anticipated the meeting of our lips. I feel the fire of her fingers as they trail down my chest. Slowly her eyes close. Closing my eyes, I close the gap between us until our lips meet. At that moment, with the sweet taste of her on my lips, you can distort that so many ways. I'm not thinking of home. I'm not thinking of how or why I arrived here. I'm not thinking about my past, about how someday all of this might be torn away. I stopped thinking about at all, only her. Breathlessly, we pull back and look at each other. She smiles and it's more beautiful than the sky above. There's no doubt about it. I'm crazy for this girl. Bear! God! I just realized something. Leanna blinks. This means your "Hey, sailor" line has a 100% success rate. Leanna hits my chest playfully.
Really? Are you trying to ruin the mood?
Sorry, should we go back to kissing?
Just stop talking.
She tucks me in close and kisses me in again. The world disappears as we share each other's embrace. Once the sun dips low and the sky begins to turn indigo, we reluctantly part, hand in hand, and big goofy smiles on our faces. We begin to head back to reconvene with the rest of our group. The journey back is significantly easier as we're jumping to lower platforms rather than higher. We make a good time traveling back. Even still, we would periodically stop just to take in the view again. This is definitely a sight I will never forget. We finally make it back to the tip of the mountain where we started. I hear the thunderous crack of dischargers in the distance. Leanna and I freeze. Was that? Another boom interrupts me. We hurry down and hear the clang of blades and the sharp crackle of spells.
Something's wrong.
Leanna runs. I sprint after her. The closer we approach camp, the clearer the sounds become. The clashing of steel, dischargers firing, people yelling. My heart pounds and I urge the wind to propel me faster. From here I can make out Amy, Zach, and Car are surrounded by a group of bandits. Half a dozen of them surround Zach alone.
We have you now, Death Slinger.
Leanna seems surprised. She mutters under her breath.
Death Slinger?
A wall of flames explodes in the bandits' path. Their attacks waver as the crackling fire makes them take cover. It takes me a whole second to realize that Amelia cast it.
We have to help!
Amy wills the flames to climb higher, her face twisted in concentration. Amy, watch out! Amelia spins around.
Ha!
A gale booms across the field, tearing apart grass and flinging up dirt. The bandits go flying.
They've got backup!
Leanna and I leap it near our group. She scowls and draws her blade.
Don't just stand there! Get them!
I should be used to unexpected things like this by now, but my heart still pounds. I unsheath my sword. Oh, look at this APM, guys. Look at this mad skills. Look at that 300 APM right
Is
there.
everyone okay?
I nod, panting and surveying the damage around me. Zach grabs one of the bandits who is barely hanging on to consciousness.
How did you find me?
Car's eyes widen.
Find you?
The bandit stays silent. With a frustrated growl, Zach drops him back down on the ground and grabs another bandit. He takes out his blaster and shoots the bandit he dropped. The guy yelps as the bolt blasts into him. He faces the new bandit he grabbed.
Talk, or the same thing happens to you.
The bandit spits in Zach's face.
I have nothing to say to you, traitor.
Zach scowls and punches the man across the face, knocking him out cold.
Traitor?
We hear shallow laughter and turn to face another bandit, clutching his side.
No one joins the Cloaked Brotherhood and leaves. You should already know that. Zack Spade.
Cloaked Brotherhood?
Zach walks over to the bandit and kicks him across the face until he finally falls unconscious. Zach searches for any other bandits who may be awake, but no one else is responsive. Suddenly, Kara marches up to Zach with her dagger drawn. Whoa, what the?
Kara!
You were a part of the Cloaked Brotherhood this entire time?
Kara's voice is harsh, and her eyes only contain hostility. Zack holds her gaze, but doesn't flinch.
I am not a part of the Cloaked Brotherhood.
Then why did he call you a traitor? How do they know what your name is? Tell me!
Zack steps closer to her blade, his expression cold and stony.
I already told you, I am not a part of them.
Zara retracts her blade, but keeps glaring at him.
How do you even know who the Cloaked Brotherhood are?
Kara's eyes hardened into polished jade. Her voice is flat and cold.
Because they destroyed my only home and family.
Ooh, plot twist! She sheathes her dagger and begins to walk away. Amy had stayed silent the entire time, watching the scene unfold, but she tries to stop Kara.
Kara,
Kara stops and gently shrugs out of her grasp.
I need some time to think.
She then disappears into the trees. The air around Zack has been thick with tension ever since the ambush. Kara still hasn't returned. We set up camp without her, not really sure what to do. Zack stays secluded from us and leans against a tree. His hair covers his face. It's been a while. Maybe we should go look for her. Lena frowns and shakes her head.
it's probably best to give her some space for now.
She's probably right. Still, there's a heavy weight on my chest. I can tell Kara is hurting, but I'm even more confused by what's going on. What was that guild they were talking about?
I'm not too sure. It sounds like a mercenary guild.
Probably not a reputable one considering Kara's reaction. Leanna looks troubled. What's wrong?
They called him the Death Slinger.
That's not the first time I've heard that name for Zack. Who exactly is the Death Slinger?
He's an infamous mercenary for hire. They say he has a death wish. The Death Slinger would take on missions and jobs that no one else would take on because of how dangerous they were. Anyone crazy enough to do those jobs were said to have no regard for their own life. Somehow the Death Slinger took those impossible jobs and found a way to survive. At the Mage Guild, we were warned that there were certain encounters, or individuals, who if we ran into, we would not under any circumstances engage them. The Death Slinger is one of those people.
Leanna shifts uncomfortably.
He has one of the highest body counts out of any mercenary.
I look at Zack. He may be a bit rough around the edges, but I know that deep down he cares about people. What the Death Slinger did, it doesn't sound like Zack at all. But this also isn't the first time we've seen him with bandits after him. When we first encountered him, Leanna mentioned those bandits seemed weird. Was it this mercenary guild chasing him? Can we trust Zack? Leanna hesitates, but Amelia pipes up.
Regardless of Zack's past, it appears his present self is no longer affiliated with the Cloaked Brotherhood or his persona of Deathslinger. He has also not betrayed us thus far.
I suppose if he really wanted to do us harm, there would have been plenty of opportunities already. Leanna nods, deep in thought. Still, I wonder what that guy meant by traitor. Amy frowns pensively.
I have a few theories, although I do not advocate jumping to any conclusions before we have discussed the matters with Zack or Kara. Regardless, his previous time as Deathslinger is something he has attempted to keep hidden as a way to disassociate himself with his past.
Leanna and I nod. Everyone has a past, but it's not how they act in the future that is important. I hear footsteps. We turn to see Kara finally returning to camp. Zack whirls around. I can't read the expression on his face. Relief, uncertainty. As she gets closer, I notice that her eyes are puffy and pink. It's clear that she's been crying, but her expression remains cold. She stops in front of Zack.
Tell me about the Cloaked Brotherhood.
What do you want to know?
How did you become associated with them?
Zack pauses. At first, I think he's going to refuse the answer, but eventually he does.
They gave me my mission to silence a target. It was a part of their initiation.
Kara inhales sharply.
So you were looking to join them.
I can't see her face, but by her voice I can tell she's angry and disgusted. Zack nods. Kara's frown deepens.
That was before I knew what they were all about. When I went to carry out the mission, that's when I found out the truth. My target was an ex-member of the Cloaked Brotherhood. The rule is, the Brotherhood is for life. This person didn't want to kill anymore, and he ran away. He was being hunted but had evaded the Brotherhood for years.
Raven, no spoilers. I'm not gonna spoil that one.
When they finally found him, he was living a simple life in a small village with a wife and 2 kids.
But I'm gonna say yes, that is one of the options.
The mission was to kill him and everyone close to him, and to send a clear message for anyone else who would want to leave the Brotherhood. I know my target killed people. Probably innocent people too, since he was part of the Brotherhood. But his family was innocent. Their only crime was knowing him. I've never killed innocent people before, and I wasn't going to start then.
I risk a glance over my shoulder. Kara's arms are crossed, but she seems to be listening.
When I found my target, I warned him of my mission and told him I would cover him so he and his family could escape. I knew the others who joined me in my mission would kill me if they knew I'd betrayed them, so I took them out before they could get me. And then I let my target go free. Once the Cloaked Brotherhood found out I didn't complete the mission and help the target escape, I knew they would start hunting me. I tried to get away and stayed in hiding for as long as I could.
Kara finally lets out a loose sigh. The tension unwinds from her body as she slumps a little. She seems to believe Zack. Zack looks directly at Kara.
But they are a very covert guild who deal in secrets. How do you even know of the Cloaked Brotherhood?
Her voice is thick with tears, and I can tell she's trying to hold them back.
My dad was one of their targets. He had stumbled into some information when he was working as a treasurer's assistant. He reported it to the treasurer, who had been corrupt and sought to silence him. We escaped, but our life was never the same. We had to move from city to city and never stayed in one place for longer than a few days. My dad would be gone for hours, sometimes even days at a time. But no matter how long he was gone, I was never really afraid because I always knew he'd come back for me. Until one day, he didn't. I knew something had happened to him, but I had no way of finding him. I spent my life trying to figure out what had happened. I dug into as much as I could. The treasurer, what it was, who called the hit, everything. I found out it was the Cloaked Brotherhood who did it, but there was no more information I could gather on them. They cover all of their tracks. I'm not sure if he's really dead or not. I've tried to come to terms with it.
But you want closure.
She nods. Zack pauses and surveys her for a moment.
I know their base of operation. They have a ledger there that keeps records of all the jobs. So even though this happened years ago, you could still find your answer.
Kara's back straightened. There's a glimmer of hope in her eyes.
But do you really want to know the truth? It might not be the answer you want to hear.
Kara's jaw clenches and her eyes are our eyes are aflame with determination. Maybe her eyes would be better here, but meh.
Yes.
Zack nods. Yeah, hers would be better than ours. Kara's expression softens.
I'm sorry for jumping to conclusions earlier. I just haven't heard the name Cloaked Brotherhood in so long, and as soon as I heard it...
She looks down.
I understand.
I won't be able to concentrate knowing there's finally a lead I can pursue about my dad. As much as I don't want to, I'll have to leave the group.
She turns around. She turns away, but Zack grabs her arm.
I'm coming with you.
Kara's eyes widen.
What?
Yes, she said, concentrate.
I've been running from my past for long enough, but enough is enough. They'll never stop searching for me, and the longer I run, the more I put others at risk.
He gestures at Amy and the rest of us.
I don't want to be the one that puts all of us in danger. I'd never forgive myself if I let them hurt the ones I care about most.
He looks into Kara's eyes. Her cheeks flush, but a small smile graces her lips.
I guess we'll both be leaving then.
Looks like it.
When they turn around to approach us, Leanna is already standing smiling expectantly.
So, where do we go next to take care of the Cloaked Brotherhood?
Kara freezes, her mouth agape.
What?
You said you guys are going to take care of that guild, right? What's our next step?
Zach and I are going to go alone.
Amy shakes her head.
If your description of the Cloaked Brotherhood is accurate, then this mission will have a greater chance of success with the aid of the entire group.
Zach crosses his arms.
Absolutely not. It's too dangerous.
I believe my combat abilities as a mage caster have been proven on numerous occasions.
And as a Mage Knight and active member of the Mage Guild, I have been trained for dangerous missions such as this.
Kara looks at me.
But what about collecting energy to help him get back home?
They look expectantly at me. Do we do A? Do we do B? Or do we do C? A, that can wait. B, it's really not so bad here. Or C, I don't want to be a part of this. Going for B. I've been starting to have fun here in Terra. I still miss my friends and family back home, but there's a lot more I can learn here too. Plus, there are a few things here on Terra that Earth doesn't have. I mean, I'm not ready to give up on magic just yet. And I'm certainly not ready to give up traveling with you guys. So if this is a detour we have to make, then I'm all in. Kara is at a loss for words.
I'm not sure what to say.
Blobberetto, how are we doing today? They all glance in surprise at the Pongo. See? Even Barbaretto wants to go. He nuzzles Kara's leg. He gives Zack a tentative look, who returns his look with a stony gaze. Mustering up his courage, he scoots over to Zack and nozzles his leg briefly, then races to the safety of my legs. Zack's expression is not harsh as he watches the Pongo.
If this is what you guys want to do, I'm not gonna stop you.
Kara looks like she's about to say something, then changes her mind and shakes her head. A smile spreads across her lips.
Thanks, you guys.
The tensions in the air disperse, and things start to feel like they're back to normal. Leanna and Kara share wide grins, and even Amy looks positive.
Let's get going then.
I stifle a yawn, which Kara notices.
Hold on, Zach. It's already nighttime and we don't have a plan formulated. I think we can afford one extra day to set everything out.
Leanna nods.
Let's sleep on it and decide what our next steps will be in the morning.
Sounds good to me.
See, this game has the best soundtrack. The best sound is the music is perfectly synced to the situation. Zach heads to his bedroll, and the rest of us filter into our own bedrolls too. Sure. 1 minute. Give me a moment here. Let me. This game you can purchase on Steam. For $19.99. Link I have posted in the I just posted it in the chat. I gradually fall asleep as the last embers of the fire die down and snuff it out. And that is the day. And that day means I'm gonna have some food. I'm hungry. I got 4 glazed donuts. 4 glazed. That's 4, not 3. 4 glazed donuts. Ah. 4 is such a good number. No, I don't want to give you one! Fuck off! Mm. My dinner of 4 glazed donuts. Which is also my lunch of the same 4 glazed donuts. Which is also my breakfast that I haven't eaten today. The next day, I wake up to the sound of voices. Looking over to Zach and Kara, speaking in low whispers, they consult with Leanna and Amelia while the Pongo snores softly beside me. I stir in my bedroll. Leanna glances over at me.
Good morning.
Eat healthier? No. Request denied. Morning. Breakfast is important, but there are a lot of important meals. Like second lunch. Second breakfast. Second breakfast. Second breakfast is the most important meal of the day. The Pongo opens groggy eyes as I carefully scoot out of the bedroll.
Hi.
Sorry, I was trying not to wake you. Go back to sleep. He opens his mouth wide in a sleepy yawn.
Why, boy?
Shaking himself in a little shudder, he blinks his eyes a few times, and then focuses a wide grin.
Boy.
I guess he's awake now. He hops with me as I take my seat with the rest of the party. What's going on?
We're mapping out our route to the Cloaked Brotherhood's hideout.
Oh.
I figured you might want to sleep in. It'll end up being a bit of a journey to get there.
Aww. The Mrs. Kevin wanted me to sleep in instead of spar. How sweet. I give Leanna an appreciative smile. Thanks. So where are we headed then?
The Cloak Brotherhood is located somewhere within Bridgewick, and that's located back towards the southeast.
Sounds like we'll be doing a bit of backtracking.
You are correct. However, that is still advantageous towards our main goal. To reach the water temple, we would have to travel in the same direction regardless.
Did you just say advantageous? Did you just seriously just say advantageous? That is a big word. That's 4 syllables. It's a big word. Ack. It's not too bad then. Although I figured no matter what, we'd have to travel south since we're pretty far up north. Kara faces Zach.
You're positive the Cloaked Brotherhood is in Bridgewick.
He nods.
How do you know if you never joined them? Even through all my research and contacts, I wasn't able to learn their location. They keep it very well protected.
I wasn't supposed to know it either. The Brotherhood doesn't reveal the location until you've been initiated. When I was sent to complete my initiation mission, one of the men let slip the location before confirming the completion of my mission. I haven't gone there myself to confirm, so once we reach Bridgewick, we'll need to do more scouting.
It still sounds like our best lead.
So I only put a little. "42? What are you talking about?" guess we have our plan then. The team separates as we clean up the camp and get ready to depart. Then we begin the trek towards Bridgewick. It takes us a few days to travel back south, even though a mission of our journey has changed. Leona still has me following a strict training regimen. You forgot the T! Game's unplayable. They forgot the T. Game's unplayable. F this. I'm done. Game is unplayable. So unplayable. They forgot the T. We continue to practice sparring and casting, and I feel myself improve with each session. It won't be long before I can beat Leanna in a match. I hope. After about 5 days of traveling, we finally arrive at Bridgewick! The cobblestone streets are paved. The fuck? This is not a cobblestone street! This is a dirt street! This is a dirt road! This is a dirt path! What the hell is the cobblestone? Where the hell? Cobble! Where are you? As we pass through the marketplace, I hear the growing voices of peddlers advertising their wares. More traditional fronts line the streets, and a few shopkeepers chase away any tents set up in front of their stores. The Pongo buries his face into my neck as we walk through. People bustle about as they shop. Everything about this town feels strangely ordinary. If I didn't know any better, I wouldn't have guessed there's a dark guild hiding beneath this ordinary facade. But of course, if it's a dark guild, chances are you can find them in the local cistern. Huh.
What is it?
This place seems kind of pleasant.
What were you expecting?
Something more like a Wolfston vibe, honestly.
Hiding someplace unremarkable is a pretty good strategy. They don't typically see too much crime here.
I wonder how much influence they have on the townsfolk here.
Probably very little. I'd guess that most of the townsfolk don't even realize that the Brotherhood is even here.
Even so, I'm not sure I like the idea of us just hanging out and play view like sitting ducks. Maybe we should go to the inn until we can figure out what to do next. Zach shakes his head.
Too many people might recognize me there.
I thought you said the townspeople are innocent.
They may be, but the inn is a prime target to leave Cloaked Brotherhood scouts. They'll most likely recognize Zach and alert the guild that he's here.
Carr frowns, looking worried.
That's a good point, which brings up an even larger problem. Where can Zach hide out? It might take a few days to even find a lead. He has to be able to stay and sleep somewhere.
I have a contact here. We can ask him if he'll let me lay low for a while.
Carr raises an eyebrow.
Who is it?
A friend of a friend. He won't turn us away.
A friend of a friend, that is not suspicious at all. Zach leads us through the city and pauses in front of a small shop. A sign with a hammer and anvil hangs above the door. This must be a blacksmith's forge. He opens the door and a small bell dings above our heads. Weapons line the wall, their blades winking in the light. I can hear the faint sound of a hammer smacking against metal as an orange glow flickers down the hall. We wait a few minutes to see when anyone comes out. When no one does, Zach leads us into the back where we see a man. His face is sweaty and raw in concentration as he hammers a blade. Sparks fly when he hits it. The constant hammering is making my ears ring. Zach steps out of the doorway, his shadow casting over the man's work.
Hey.
The man looks up and blinks.
Oh, good afternoon.
He wipes the forehead with the back of his arm and smiles.
Sorry to keep you waiting. It's usually pretty quiet up front at this time. What can I do for you?
Are you Adrian?
His smile remains on his face, but a line of tension creases his brows.
I am. Who's asking?
I'm a friend of Damon.
Adrian's eyes widen and he lets out a long, slow breath.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
He always spoke very highly of you. Said the only blade worth having was the one forged by Adrian.
Adrian laughs, a deep, throaty rumble.
And then he switched to discharges. Lost out my business when that happened.
His expression softens when he takes a closer look at Zack.
You that boy took him? Although, you're not so much a boy anymore.
Zack.
Adrian nods.
I'm sorry about what happened to Damon. He didn't deserve to go like that.
No, he didn't.
Zack lowers his head so his hair falls slightly into his eyes. Zack isn't usually this emotional. Whoever they're talking about, he must have meant a lot to Zack.
Anyway, Damon was like a brother to me, and I know how much he cared about you. He wouldn't stop talking about how you were going to be one of the best mercs out there, maybe rivaling even him. Anything I can do to help, you just let me know. A friend of Damon's is a friend of mine.
Zack nods. He takes a moment to recompose himself, then looks back up.
I appreciate the offer. In fact, I do have a favor to ask. Would it be alright if I lay low here for a while?
The blacksmith strokes his chin, smearing soot across the jaw. I notice the skin on his forearms look like it's been melted, and it takes me a moment to realize that they're burn scars.
I won't ask why, but can you promise me you won't bring anything back to my shop? I don't need any trouble here.
I promise, you won't be involved at all.
He grins a little and nods.
Then, feel free to stay as long as you need.
Thank you.
The rest of you going to stay here too?
Leanna shakes her head.
It's a bit crowded in here, and we've got some things to take care of first.
Adrian eyes the Pongo warily. The Pongo shrinks from his gaze. He wobbles over to my legs and hides behind me. Well, actually, the Pongo might stay. You'll be on your best behavior, right? He grins up on me and cuddles against my leg.
Boy.
I promise he won't touch anything in the shop. Adrian looks over at Zack, who nods.
I'll keep an eye on him too.
Satisfied, Adrian nods.
All right, you can stay.
Kara touches Zack's arm.
We'll be back as soon as we can.
He nods but doesn't say anything. Kara gives him a gentle squeeze before we return to the main room. Sorry, yawn. I know, I'm sorry. Really sorry. We pause before leaving the room. Once outside, I face the remainder of our party.
Alright, we've got to find the location of the Cloaked Brotherhood's hideout. It'll make more sense if we split up to find information.
Agreed. Our best course of action is to investigate in pairs. That way, should anyone befall any trouble, they will not be alone.
Good thinking.
Amy and I will start in the north of the town, while you two start in the south. We'll meet up back here afterwards.
Once agreed, we split up. Leanna and I head off in one direction, while Kara and Amelia go the opposite way. Leanna and I pause at the marketplace.
I'll scout some of the buildings out around here and see if I can find any unusual activity.
Ethan, what's wrong? You're like, excuse me. Like, what the hell? Oh, that yawn describes the stream. Well, if you don't like the stream, you can go fuck off. Okay, if you ask around inside, I can look around out here in the marketplace. She grins.
Sounds like a plan.
She heads off. I turn around and scan the area. Should we ask the shady-looking group hanging out near the alleyway? Should we ask the mother with her child? Or should we ask the guards? we're going to see. So we're going to see our way out. Okay. Two guards are playing some kind of dice game in front of a fancy-looking building with a wrought iron fence. He was just saying that, you know, this stream is very tiring. And, that, he had nothing else better to do. So I was like, you know what? F off. No, I didn't ban him. I just timed him out, so he can't say anything for five minutes. I don't like to ban people. That's 42's job. 42's job is to bring down the ban hammer. Because he brings it down with electrifying results. Excuse me. The guards pause. They look up.
Yes, can we help you?
Should we ask A or B? What's the crime like around here? Or how about that cloaked brotherhood? Am I right? I think we should go with B, only because it's evasive. And we don't know if the guards are part of the cloaked brotherhood. How's protecting the city going? The guards blink.
Fine?
Arrest anyone suspicious lately? I lean against the fence, trying to appear super casual. You know, like some murderer from a very secretive mercenary guild or something? The other guard's face settles into a frown.
Is there something you need? We're kind of busy.
I glance at their dice game. So much for protecting and serving. Right, sorry. I shuffle away. Ask the mother with her child? Should we do A, ask the shady looking group? Okay. I walk up to a group of people, mostly young guys. They're clustered together, blocking off an alley. Someone must have said something funny because they abruptly burst into laughter. Hey! They look up at me.
What do you want?
Is there anything going on here in these parts? A or B? The question was, what do I want? Question is, do you know where I could find the Cloak Brotherhood?
The what?
You know. I look around to make sure no one's listening. But when it's safe, I cup my hands over my mouth and I whisper loudly. The Cloaked Brotherhood. I wink, a little more exaggerated than necessary. When they don't respond, I elbow the first guy in the ribs. You know, the Brotherhood? The group stares at me like I've spoken another language. The first man shoves my elbow away. His face curls into a growl.
What are you talking about? Get lost!
I leave before any trouble starts. Maybe that wasn't the smartest thing I could have said. Ask the mother with her child. The last one. Excuse me! The woman freezes. She stops and turns around. The woman's mouth pulls into a distorted frown. She takes in my leather armor and her her sword strapped to my back. Her eyes guarded and wary. She shuffles her son behind her.
What do you want?
I'm new to town and was wondering if you've noticed anything suspicious, or what can you tell me about the Cloaked Brotherhood? A or B? We're going to go with. We got 1B. We got 1B. Anyone else? Anyone else? We got 2B. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about the town. Her eyes narrow.
What about it?
I've just moved here a bit ago. Is there anything you think I should know? The woman pauses, her lips flatten into a thin line.
Yes. You shouldn't be traveling alone.
Her grip tightens around her little boy's hand. My stomach clenches. Oh. I shift uncomfortably. Why? Is there anyone strange out here? The woman's mouth clenches shut, clearly she's not answering any more of my questions.
If you'll excuse me.
She elbows her way past me and disappears back into the crowd. That wasn't as successful as I'd hoped it to be. I search for Leanna and find her outside one of the buildings. Any luck? She shakes her head. Me neither.
Maybe we should head back and see if the others have had more success.
Yeah, good idea. We make our way back to the blacksmith shop. It looks like Kara and Amelia are already waiting for us.
There you guys are!
Kara splits into a bright smile when she sees us. She seems to be in a good mood. I hope this means you found something.
You bet! I think I got a lead.
I raise my eyebrows, impressed. Really? She nods.
I noticed there were a lot of people going in and out of this one area. It might be nothing, or it could lead us exactly where we need to
Laters,
go.
Andrew. You have a great evening. Leanna nods in agreement.
That sounds like our best bet. We should grab Zach and get going.
We meet up with Zach and film and what we found. He straps on his dischargers and together we head. He straps on his dischargers. It sounds so 42. Help. Help me, 42. He straps on his dischargers. Can you put that into the quotes? He straps on his dischargers. And together we head out of the shop. Kara takes us through a shortcut of the city, hitting more isolated streets. Fewer people who see Zach, the better. She steers us into an alleyway and then turns into the sharp corner.
Right here.
She gestures to a house. I squint at it. It doesn't look any different than the other houses in the city. But what exactly am I looking at?
This place doesn't seem like much, but I've seen people come in and out. If this was someone's home, you'd expect to see the same person there all the time. But that's not the case.
Let's check it out then.
There's a man stationed right outside the home, but Zach easily knocks him out. As we enter the house, the first thing I see is a rickety dining table and a meager kitchen. Sunlight slices across the floor from a single window. I notice a red flap covering the entrance to what might be another room. Kara walks around the room, testing the floors and walls for any creaks or hollow sounds. She shoves aside a curtain to expose a blank wall. Pushing against a knot in the wood, the wall swings back to reveal a doorway leading to an underground staircase. I wait for Kara to grin or make any of her usual jokes, but she doesn't. Instead, her jaw clenches. She looks nervous. We all stare down into the dark.
Let's go.
I stiffly nod. We descend down the stairs. A bright light bursts through the dark. At the bottom of the steps, I can hear two male voices. Whoever it is, it sounds like they're laughing and joking with each other. Zach draws his dischargers. There's a crack and then a flash of violet light. The sentry grunts in pain and collapses before even he has a chance to sound the alarm. I dash down and ready my sword. Oh, look at this APM skill, guys. The guard cuts at my face with his sword. I lunge, blocking him with a spray of sparks. My manipulator glows. I hack at him again. He cries out, struggling to keep up. With a final swing, his sword clatters to the ground. With the sentries disposed of, we step past them and follow the hallway. Zack leads the way as the hall opens up into a large room. It's darkly lit with deep wooden tables. It looks to me like some sort of guild hall. There are alcoved areas branching from the main hall, one of which is guarded. If I had to guess, the ledgers are probably stored in that room. Incursus wouldn't be proud of the APM, he'd be jealous of the APM. Incursus would take one look at that and he'd be like, damn that Kinshasa girl. I wish I had her APM. That's what Incursus would say. The others must have come to the same conclusion as we get closer to get a better look. The floorboard creaks and another bandit hears us. He scrambles for the discharger at his waist, but he's not fast enough. Anna shoots her hand out and a wind gale blasts him away.
Let's go.
We walk around the bandit sprawled across the floor and follow Zack into the room. A man looks up at us from behind a desk. He has a shock of red hair and a few scars across his face.
Hey, you can't be back here. This is for authorized...
He freezes. The words caught on his lip, then his eyes widen.
Zack?
A heavy pause. Zack's face is taut with shock.
It can't be. There.
Ver gapes at him. Then his expression melts into a wry smile, and then laugh bubbles out of him.
Of course it's you. It's always you, isn't it?
Zack's face is frozen with shock and confusion.
There. You're alive.
Yes, and I'm just as surprised to see you, too. Although I really shouldn't be. I should have known better.
What are you talking about? Where have you been this whole time?
Ver shakes his head.
A bit slow on the uptake. Honestly, I expected better from you, Zack, the prodigal son.
Zack's jaw clenches.
You've been here. With the Cloaked Brotherhood.
Ver slides into a slippery grin.
There you go. I knew you'd get there eventually.
Zack's eyes darken to the color of a storm.
Our last mission together. You, me, Damon, and the others. We had to transport the weapons. Seemed easy enough at the time. You were there on the crystal rail with us. But you weren't there when they all got attacked.
Ver's mouth curls into a snarl.
Apparently, neither were you.
No. I was sent to look for you. We thought maybe something happened when you didn't return from scouting.
Ver scoffs.
Damon couldn't even trust me to do one thing. He sent you to fix it for me, didn't he?
He was worried about you. That's what happens when you're part of a team.
Don't give me that bullshit.
Ver's eyes narrow. He grips the back of his chair so hard his knuckles turn white. The words flow out of his mouth like a poison, each one more clipped and venomous than the last.
Damon only cared about you. The rest of us only mattered in how we compared to you.
That's not true!
How would you know?
I knew Damon. He cared about all of us. We were a family!
Ver croaks out a laugh.
You're still just as naive as before. And if Damon hadn't trusted you as much as he did, maybe he'd still be alive.
Zack's grip on his discharger tightens.
You were sent to find me, but you couldn't. because I'm smarter than you and always have been. It's too bad Damon wasn't able to see that, but I found people who did.
He gestures to the guild around him.
If you had caught me, then maybe the attack wouldn't have happened. Maybe the Cloaked Brotherhood wouldn't have secured the weapons and killed everyone on that crystal rail. Damon died because you couldn't complete your mission.
Suddenly, a loud crack rings in my ear and a flash of purple sparks in my vision. Zack stands with his discharger raised while Vare clutches at his side. He snarls as he whips out his own discharger and shoots at Zack, who deftly dodges it. I snap back to reality. I pull up my sword. Leanna and Amelia power up their manipulators as Kara reaches for her daggers.
Oh!
That's how I feel right now, looking at Hamid's commentary. Vare crumples into a heap on the ground, gasping. Zack's eyes are a dark abyss as he calmly aims his discharger at Vare's head. Kara's eyes widen.
Zack, what are you doing?
My stomach gives an unpleasant twist. Leanna and Amelia look equally as shocked. Zack. Zack's grip on his discharger tightens. Kara slowly steps towards him. You know what? I got a better idea. I'm gonna permanently solve this. There we go. I have solved it. Now we can handle that. 42, when he comes back on, you're more than welcome to handle it. That way I don't have to worry about it. Now then, where was he?
Look at him. He's done. You don't have to do this.
The discharger shakes in his hand. I've known 42 longer than I've known you, Ethan, so 42 has priority. Plus, the channel's not big enough for 2 mods. Besides, if everyone becomes a mod, then everyone would be timing each other out and banning each other and kicking each other. It would just be really, really silly. Then again, his discharger is shaking in his hand. Hurt and anger flashes across his face.
I understand your anger, your pain, but killing him won't make all that pain disappear. It won't bring back your friend.
Kara gently touches Zack's arm.
Don't stoop to his level. You won't be able to come back from it.
You really don't know him, do you? He's killed countless people just like I have. You really think one more to his tally will hurt his conscience? Don't be so stupid.
Raven, Ethan, are you being a... What's that word? It's like TSU, Sudanary or whatever it is. What is it? How do you pronounce that word?
Tsundere.
Tsundere? Sundare, whatever it is. It's this word.
Just do it already.
Zach's grip tightens once more as he aims his weapon. My breath catches in my throat, and the air stills in taut tension as the time seems to freeze.
No.
He lowers his weapon. Vera exhales hard and laughs.
You've gone weak. Maybe we aren't as much alike as I thought.
You're right. Because I'm nothing like you. I don't murder the people I care about.
What?
You were my brother for the longest time, and family is complicated. You'll have to live with what you did, and maybe it won't be today or tomorrow. But someday, your decisions will come back to haunt you.
It's an anime term, Ethan. Vera scoffs.
That soft heart is what got Damon killed, and what will eventually kill you, too.
Zack swings the discharger around, crunching into Vera's temple. He slumps to the ground. The encroaching quiet seeping in seems to bring life back to us. Zack breathes hard as he stares at the body on the ground.
You did the right thing.
He doesn't say anything. I glance over at Leanna. Her blue eyes watch Zack closely, her mouth a thin line, wondering what she's thinking about. Hey. She glances at me and gives a small smile.
Hey.
You okay?
Yeah, I feel for Zach. It must have been really hard knowing that someone you trusted could have betrayed you.
Yeah. I hear a soft rustling to see Amelia rummaging through the books. Amy? She looks up.
Yes?
Why are you going through other people's stuff? Are you sure now is a good time to be doing that?
The goal of this mission is to acquire the ledger which contains information regarding Kara's family. Is it not?
Her voice wavers as she tries to put on a brave face.
It is evident that these books are the ledgers which we seek. To find the specific book, we would need to require a lengthy amount of time which we do not have. I would advise all of us to assist in this function.
Yeah, but maybe this is her way of coping with the situation. I gesture towards Zach. He shakes his head.
Amy's right. We need to find the ledger and get out of here.
He shakes out of Kara's grasp and begins pulling out books.
What date should we be looking for, Kara?
Oh, let me think.
Kara heads over to Zach while Leanna and I jump in to help. Once we know what dates to search for, we get started on sorting the books. We work tirelessly, glancing behind us every so often to see if anyone's noticed us. Then Zach wordlessly hands Kara a ledger. His eyes search as he takes back the book with trembling hands.
Is that the ledger we require?
Hamid, I have a question for you. How did you enjoy your bacon sandwich this morning? Did you have your eggs and bacon this morning? Why not? Why didn't you have your eggs and bacon this morning? Oh, my donuts were fabulous, thank you for asking. Okay, have fun, bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you on your ass out. We wait awkwardly, but Kara doesn't move.
Why don't we just take it with us? We can read it at a more fitting time. Right now, we might have to get out of here before more of the Brotherhood finds us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll definitely be back. I am so holding my tongue right now. You, you know, the sad thing about Hamid is that, you know, if you like, if unfortunately you block one, 10 more appear because they're just a bunch of cockroaches. Kara shakes her head to clear her thoughts, and her voice grows stronger.
I mean, you're right. We need to get out of here.
How about no? How about I will not say your name right? You know what? Because you're nothing to me. You're worth less than the dirt on my boot. You're worth less. You're worth more than me? Really? 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 You're worth more than me? Ah. You think you're worth more than me? Yeah, you're not worth more than me. You're not worth more than me. You know, you probably have as much money as I have sand in my sandbox. I mean, I think, Thor needs to come forward. If Thor is in the room, can he smite this? I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it because if I said what I want to say, YouTube would ban me. So I'm not going to say it. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. Thor, can you do me a favor and smite the non-believer? Don't worry, don't worry. When Thor smites you, you'll get your 42 versions. You know, just remember, they're all prepubescent male teens that play World of Warcraft every day. Get the hell out of here. And one more for good measure. There we go. Done and done. Give me a moment. Give me a... He's already gone. He's gone. There we go. We are done. What are you doing?
I'm acquiring proof should we wish to alert the proper authorities about the Cloaked Brotherhood.
Good idea. I think those will be enough, though. Let's go.
The group nods and we slip out of the room. I follow the group through the corridor and we navigate to the exit. The sky is a canvas of darkness when we exit the house. Bright stars prick holes in the inky blanket of night. I let out a soft breath of relief. We made it. Zach marches ahead of us. He approaches the first guard we find. The guard stiffens as Zach approaches, taking in his black coat and scar.
Can I help you?
Yes, we discovered something that might be interesting to you.
Oh?
There's a band of dangerous mercenaries living in this area. They're called the Cloaked Brotherhood, known for taking on jobs which hurt innocent people. We've just discovered their home base.
The guard looks surprised.
I've never heard of this group.
That's the point.
He seems dismissive and skeptical.
It's pretty hard to believe that a dangerous organization has been in this town the whole time without our knowledge.
They don't operate openly.
Still, the guards seem unconvinced. Zach shoves three books Amy grabbed from the ledger room at him.
Here's a list of some of their targets, and these are just a few of them. There's a whole room full of even more names and missions.
The guard rolls his eyes as he opens the first book, but his jaw tightens as he flips through the pages.
These are death dates.
Yes. Look how far back these dates and names go. They've been operating for a while.
The guard snaps the book shut, his mouth frowning at in obvious distaste.
Where did you say you found this?
His voice is hard and his eyes steely. Zach points to the house.
There's a hidden doorway behind a curtain in the front room. You'll need reinforcements.
I'll look into this. If all of this is real, then there are serious crimes being committed.
His demeanor changes completely from being boredless as man we approach. His footsteps are brisk and sharp as he seeks out his fellow guards. Kara is still clinging to her book. She clutches it to her chest. Zach notices Kara's expression.
Come on, let's go to the inn.
She furrows her brows.
What if someone sees you?
It doesn't matter anymore. The scouts will return to headquarters to discover an army of guards storming the place. I'll be the last of their worries.
That's true.
Kara sounds like she's still in a daze as Zach steers her towards the inn. The rest of us follow silently behind. Hey, look, it's that inn again. The inn that we always go to. That bloody inn. When we arrive at the inn, we hurry upstairs, walking faster than normal. Zach doesn't stop to make eye contact with any of the other patrons, even though a few of them do a double take. Kara goes into her room. Zach follows her and swings the door shut behind him, but he catches on the back of his heel, which stops it from closing all the way. He must have had a one-track mind because he doesn't seem to notice.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Kara takes a deep breath.
Yes.
She closes her eyes.
No.
Her face twists.
But I need to. I need to know.
Take your time. Whenever you're ready.
She nods, not meeting his eyes. We should go. We should leave. But Leanna and Amelia stand on either side of me, rooted to the spot. Even the Pongo is still in silence. After what seems to be an eternity, Kara flips through the book, biting her lip. There's a lengthy pause. I can see her eyes flicker across the page. She freezes. A visible weight seems to leave Kara's body. The book goes limp in her hand, hanging wide open from her fingertips. I don't think she even realizes it's still there.
At least now I know.
Heartbreak flickers across Leanna's face.
Oh, Kara! I'm so sorry.
My chest gives a painful tug. Are you alright? Kara nods.
I'm fine.
Fine is not what she is. She's not fine, not fine, not fine, not fine, not fine, not fine, but she's saying fine. But her voice is tight. She tries to put on a smile but can't hide the pain from her face. Zach takes a step towards her. He touches her arm and something in Kara's expression changes.
I'm fine. Really.
I know.
Kara's eyes begin to shimmer with tears. She shakes her head.
I know.
Gently he folds her into his arms. The ledger falls to the ground with a soft thud. Her voice cracks as she tries to hold back tears. Aw, looks cute. Zach's arms wrap tightly around her. She clings to him and she can't hold back any longer. They stand there together, Kara's body shuddering from her deep sobs as Zach holds her, as strong and steady as a rock. My heart caves. I want to help, but I don't know what to do. Leanna touches my arm.
We should go.
I nod. Giving them some space is maybe the best thing I can do for her and Zach at this point. Leanna and Amelia slowly walk away. I reach out and gently shut the door, following after them. We settle downstairs at a table while we wait. Leanna casts worried glances upstairs.
I feel for both Kara and Zach.
Yeah, Vieira and Zach have some intense history. I guess they both ran in the same circle and was looked after by Damien. Amy nods.
Ultimately, Vare was unsatisfied with the group, and to complete his initiation into the Cloaked Brotherhood, he had his team killed.
Wait, how'd you know that was his initiation? Amy fixes me with her big bug eyes.
Zack expressed that the Brotherhood's initiations require a hefty sacrifice. For Zack, it was to spill the blood of the innocents. It would stand to reason that the Brotherhood would have offered a similar mission to Vare.
That makes what happened even more horrific. How could he just turn on his team like that?
Hopefully this was all worth it, though, to give Kara some closure.
Yeah. Having an idea of what happened isn't the same as reality confirming it.
The conversation falls to a close. There's really not much to say after what happened. Finally, after what feels like an hour, Zach and Kara come downstairs from their room. We all shoot to a stand.
Hey, how are you feeling?
Kara hastily wipes her face.
It still hurts, but it's a little better now.
She gives us a small, weak smile.
Thank you guys for coming with me.
Leanna smiles back.
Of course.
A few other people from the inn send us curious glances. Some patrons squint at Zach.
We should get out of here.
A shiver runs down my spine. Yeah, I agree. All the muttering and staring is starting to make me feel uneasy. Not only that, but this place is still technically dangerous. I'd rather not have another encounter with the Cloaked Brotherhood. Not wasting any more time, we gather what we need and leave. When we are far enough from the city, we finally stop to make camp. The crescent moon hangs low in the clouds. Zach prepares dinner and we sit around a small fire. The Pongo huddles close to Kara. She absentmindedly pats his head, and gives him a hug. It's silent for a while, with only the sound of flames crackling and crickets chirping in the distance. Even though Zach's cooking is always delicious, I found myself unable to concentrate on the taste. Kara chews slowly, thoughtfully. A part of me wonders if I should say something and ask how she's doing. But maybe it'd be better to give her some space. Kara clears her throat.
Thanks for everything you've done for me. I know you all didn't have to go.
With me to find the Cloak Brotherhood, but it means a lot to me that you did.
Of course. There's no way we'd let you go through that alone.
Leanna and Kara share an expression of silent gratitude.
I'm glad I finally know what happened to my dad.
She breathes out a big sigh.
It's a bit crazy, but my greatest worry wasn't just that he might be dead, but that maybe he wasn't and he never came back for me.
Kara. She smiles for the first time. It looked natural, a bit sad, but also relieved.
It's okay. I know that he would never have abandoned me. Our separation was by force. There's no changing the past. At least now I can move on to bigger and brighter things.
She turns to Zach, and her expression softens.
What about you? Running into Vare was unexpected, and it sounded like you had a lot of history.
Bear, they already did. Zach looks up. He hesitates, then lets out a low sigh.
He was like a brother to me. We both lost our families. Both were orphans. We were both taken in by Damon.
Damon was your mentor? Zach nods.
He was the leader of our band of mercenaries, and like a father to me. He taught me everything I know, pushed me to become the best I could be, and showed me how to survive.
Well, while that's true, 42, you also forget that they were in the same room for almost an hour, or what felt to be an hour, so we don't know what could have happened. He pauses as he stares into the fire.
Vare and I were the youngest. I was around 14 when I joined the group.
I read your
Vare had
last
only been there
message.
a year
Thank you.
longer.
I appreciate it. Oh, 42, there is a such thing as depression sex. You know that, right? It's when you have fun, when you're depressed, in hopes that it's going to make you feel better. There's also anger sex. There's also frustration sex. There's also just general sex. There's also just we're just bored sex. I mean, there's for every occasion. Exactly, totally did.
We bonded pretty quickly.
His voice trails off as he furrows his brow.
At least, I thought we did. I've been thinking about what he said, and I wonder if he's right. Maybe Damon did favor
No,
me.
ew, toe sex, ew, no. How would that even work? Do you just like stick your foot somewhere? Oh. Even if that's true, it doesn't mean he deserved to die for it.
No, of course not. Nothing can excuse what Vare did.
Leanna's voice is gentle.
What happened?
Zach pauses as he collects his thoughts.
We'd been hired to transport a load of weapons. It was supposed to be an easy gig, one we'd all done many times before. Vare was our scout, and Damon and I guarded the trunk as we took passage on the Crystal Rail. Biggs and Jess were stationed in other Crystal Rail cars to spot any suspicious passengers. Damon sent Vare out to make his round on the Crystal Rail, as he had done a few times already. This time, it took longer than usual and we were worried that he'd encounter some trouble. Damon had me search for Vare and give him back up if needed. I walked around the Crystal Rail, through the cars, asking the rest of our team if they saw him. No one did, and I couldn't find him. When I got back to Damon...
Zach paused. Pain rippled across his face. His eyes haunted and bleak.
He was dead.
His voice is flat.
I didn't have time to look at the bodies. The men who killed him were still there, so I jumped out of the Crystal Rail before they could get me too.
His face curls in disgust.
I assumed Vare died with them. I mourned for him.
His hands curl into fist. Kara reaches out and touches his arm. He flinches and blinks at her. His eyes refocus and he turns away, taking a deep breath.
They never came after you?
He shakes his head.
They probably assume I died jumping out of the crystal rail. After I recovered, I tried to seek out what had happened, but for years I couldn't find a damn thing.
He pauses.
I didn't know it was the Cloak Brotherhood, and that Vare could have done that, or would have joined them. I lost everything that day, for the second time in my life.
I try to imagine how it would feel to mourn for someone I cared about, only to find out years later that they were alive and had betrayed me. The thought makes my stomach turn. Lena shifts in the quiet, but Kara speaks next in her low voice.
And that's when you became the Deathslinger, isn't it?
Zack lifts his head.
Yeah.
The reports from the Mage Guild, they said you would take on suicide missions?
No, we don't get Kara. Kara, I think, is gonna pair off with Zack. And we're probably gonna get, Leanne and, maybe Amy. We get paired off with Amy on the side as our side chick. For science. We're gonna get Amelia for science! These reports from the Mage Guild, they said you would take on suicide missions. Yes!
Missions kept my mind from
Definitely
thinking.
for that kind of science.
I was good at what I did, and I had nothing to lose.
Definitely that exact type of science. Oh, yeah, Zack that gets Kara, yeah. Shadows flitter across Zack's face, and his group quiets. Leanna looks down as Kara places a hand on Zack's arm. He looks at her, and the shadows disappear from his eyes. As their eyes meet, Kara's cheek begins to color, and Zack cracks the hint of a smile.
But I don't need to be the Deathslinger anymore.
Amelia doesn't seem to be that kind of a girl that likes to be with blobs or slimes. I mean, have you ever met a girl that wants to be around with slimes? Kara blinks and looks at Zack hopefully.
Oh?
He shrugs. He looks like he's struggling to get the words out. A slight blush dusts his cheeks and he coughs.
I found a reason to live.
Should we? Oh, it's time for revenge, guys. Should we do, oh, stop it, you? Should we do group hug? Or should we do, I'm happy for you, Zack? Remember, we still need revenge from yesterday for him finding what happened, what was going on yesterday. We gotta be corny. You want me to choose? I giggle and flick my wrist at him. Oh, stop it, you. Zack. Zack turns and glares at me.
I didn't mean you, jackass.
Hey, there's a Zack that I know. He crosses his arms, but looks at all of us with appreciation. The man has a very strange way of showing us affection.
We should get some sleep. It's been a long day.
Yeah, Kara liked that. Kara was like, oh my gosh, really? found it hilarious. I nod. Yep, I agree. Let's go to bed. Every limb and muscle suddenly feels sluggish, and I realize how much I've pushed myself today. The same exhaustion seems to ripple throughout the rest of the group. Ethan, I don't remember. More than 2. I unravel my bedroll and smack it a few times, puffing it out as best as I can. Kara is the first one asleep. Today's event must have really exhausted her. And definitely today's event must have really exhausted her. In her sleep, her face looks smooth and peaceful. I hope she's able to get a good God damn it, can't speak! I hope she's able to get a good night's rest. Zach's bedroll shifts a little closer to her. When he gets close, I hear a tiny squeak. The Pongo pokes his head out from Kara's bedroll and blinks at Zach. Through my gaze of exhaustion, I see Amelia stretch out her hand. Her bracelets shimmer and the embers of the fire snuff out. My eyes drip shut as I fall asleep. Well, I think that's a good break for us today. You know, I did a 2-hour stream. The two of them got busy in the bedrolls. Amelia turned out the fire. The Pongo was probably part of those adventures. Let's get this thing saved. Let's go to here. And I will probably see you guys tomorrow evening. Again, same time, same place, another 2-hour stream. Get another group part of this going. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night, everyone. And remember, absolutely nothing. Good night, everyone.